welcome to Turn the Page, the official podcast of the Syosset Public Library.
Hello, everybody. This is Evelyn Hershkowitz, Reader Services Librarian from the Syosset Public Library on the Turn the Page podcast. Thank you for joining us. We have with us today a special guest, Teri Lynne Defino. Teri's latest book, which comes out February 14th, Valentine's Day, perfect, is called Varina, Palladino's Jersey Italian Love Story. And we're so happy to have her with us. Thank you for being here, Teri.
Oh, thank you for having me.
So, Teri, why don't we tell everybody what the book is about?
Me? It's about three generations of women, for the most part, that the grandmother and the woman's daughter, Sylvia and Donatella, are the grandmother and granddaughter, and Varina is the mom. We'll go maiden-mother crone thing. They decide that she needs a boyfriend, and what she really needs is a vacation. But they do it secretively, and they kind of really muck it up. But I won't go into details because it's pretty funny, the things they do to her, the poor thing. But it's really a family drama about a lot of extended family. I don't know if you know anything about Italian families, but we're very large, very loud, and generally very close.
Hello, Jewish families the same.
I know, it's the same. The Jews and the Italians.
My husband calls my family the loud family, so there's not much difference at all. It's always a joke. His family's not as loud. I have the loud family. So where did you come up with this idea?
Well, the funny thing is my daughter lives in Brooklyn, my youngest daughter. And she was on her way to work one day and she saw this poster on a light post. And it was a picture of an older gentleman wearing a tuxedo and holding a rose. And the caption above it said, "Is your grandfather single, Jewish, and looking for love?" And then it had a $10,000 reward for a match made and a email address to email for any candidates. And she thought it was the funniest thing. And she sent it to me. She texted it and said, "This is your next book." And I was like, yeah, it is. This is the best. Wow. And I just changed it because I'm not Jewish. I feel like I really can't write the Jewish experience, but I certainly can write the Jersey Italian experience, which, as you mentioned, we're pretty much the same. But anyway.
Right. Wow, that's great. It really is. So do you have any idea if this nice Jewish older man found love?
We tried to get in touch. I emailed the email address at the bottom. It was funny, and off the top of my head, I can't remember what it was, but nobody ever responded. So,
that's too bad. That would have been nice to have a conclusion to that.
Yeah, wouldn't it?
Yeah. Well, I just want to say your book got a starred review in Booklist, which is very exciting. I hope you knew that.
I did. I'm very excited about that.
It's a pretty long. I don't know if I want to read the whole thing, but it says, "What was it Tolstoy said about families? Make that famiglias, and the Palladino clan more than qualifies." So it was
Familia,
okay. And that's another thing we need to talk about is how wonderful you open each chapter with a
that was
Italian
really fun.
word. It's great. And then you have to go back after you read the chapter and reread it to see how it related to the chapter. What was your favorite word that you put in here?
Oh, gosh. You know what? I'm going to have to say Schiattanungorp, because I always believed that was my dad. I thought my dad made that up. I thought my parents, my family made up most of these words. I had no idea they were real. But everybody said them, and it wasn't until I was watching The Sopranos about 10 years after it was aired. And I heard them saying it. I was like, wow, these are real words that people use. But then I got really interested in where they came from and how they got kind of mangled there. But yes, Schiattanungorp.
Do you speak Italian?
I do not.
Okay. Did your parents speak Italian?
My mom did as a child. She can still understand it, but her grandmother, who spoke no English,
Right.
lived in the house with them, and so she learned from her. She spoke mostly Italian until she was 4, but then you go to school and.
Well, my mother, very similar. My mother's grandmother only spoke Yiddish.
Oh.
And even though she didn't live with her, my mother, as a young kid, was sent to help her and take care of her. And my mother had to learn English when she went to kindergarten.
Yeah, yeah, my
She
mom's
spoke
saying.
Yiddish also. So it's funny. There are a lot of similarities. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about
Oh yeah.
Jews and the Italians. But some of these words are just great. They really are. It's so much fun. It's so much fun. I love all these Italian words. I'm just looking for a really good one.
I was talking to a woman the other day. I did an interview, and she's also Jewish, and she said her family used mensa mens, which is the Italian is come see, come sa.
Right.
And she said, but her very Jewish family, they lived in Brooklyn, but they used mensa mens all the time, not knowing that it was Italian.
Right. Okay, that makes sense. Well, the cover of the book is beautiful also. Nobody can see
I
it.
love the cover.
Okay. It's all food and everybody reaching out for it. It's just great. But then on the back, they have one of the words. They have capiche, right? And everybody knows that.
Yep.
So common in American English vernacular, capiche. It's universal and understood to mean exactly what it means. Answering, yeah, I got it. So yeah, it's great. Just great. Beautiful cover, beautiful color.
Thanks,
Did you have any say in the book cover at all?
Actually, yeah, they did ask me what I liked and what I didn't like, and they asked my opinion. I really, really, really loved this one, and I'm really happy that this is the one we went with. But yeah, I don't get the final say, but they do ask my opinion.
Yeah, well, it's beautiful. It's really a nice book. So this is your second adult novel, right? But you have
This is
written
my
in the
second
past,
novel with William Morrow.
with
I
William
have
Morrow, okay. But in the past,
3. I'm
you've
sorry.
written fantasy and romance. Is that correct?
Yes, with 2 different publishers. The
Okay.
fantasy was a very small press out in Kansas City, Hadley Row Books, and the romance work was with Kensington
Oh,
in New York, and then William Morrow for the last 2.
okay. So that's great. So you've come further up the chain, I see.
Yes.
Publishers. That's wonderful. Good. And your book there was Bar Harbor Retirement Home?
Yes.
Yeah, I haven't read that one, but it sounds like a great book. It took place in Maine?
Yes, Bar Harbor, Maine, yeah.
Yeah, you're familiar with Maine? Do you go there often?
I'm familiar with Bar Harbor.
Okay.
I've been to Maine a few times. I get some complaints about that because, Bar Harbor's in the title, but I'm really not focusing on Bar Harbor itself. It's just where it takes place.
Oh, okay. Sounds
But
good.
I did go up. It was really fun. They invited me up to do a book talk up at the library up there. It was really,
Oh, that's nice.
yeah.
Will you be doing a book tour for this book?
I don't really think so. These book tours are kind of above my strata.
Okay.
But I do have a lot of things lined up. I've got a couple of luncheons with book club things, and I've always got something going on.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's great. Have you always wanted to be an author?
Oh yeah. Since I was very small. I mean, it's really the only thing I ever wanted to be, aside from an archaeologist when I was like when did Indiana Jones come out? That's probably when I wanted to be an archaeologist.
I think that was the late 70s, early 80s. Yeah, I'm not 100% sure
so
exactly, but
teen.
I remember when it came out. Absolutely. Yeah. That's funny. An archaeologist. Yeah. There aren't a lot of those anymore, I don't think.
No.
That's like my son wanted to be a paleontologist, and that's,
So did mine.
Yeah.
They all go through that dinosaur phase.
Absolutely. That's all he wants. That's all he wanted to do. Okay, so when I started reading the book, I kind of would have liked a family tree, I think. Have you heard that from other people?
I've gotten that a lot. It's, it's really kind of crazy, but That's how Italian families are. And I should have, if I wanted to be really authentic, everybody would have had the same name. It would have been all Dominics or, something like that. And because everybody was always named after everybody. But, you can't do that.
Well, you know what? They do that in the Jewish religion. They name after the deceased. So
Yeah.
if you really, if you have a lot of kids at the same time, it happened in my father's family. There's a million, they all have the same name also. So another similarity there.
Yep.
For sure. So what is your writing life like? Do you outline? Do you fly by the seat of your pants? What is it?
I kind of do both. I when I come up with an idea, I will just kind of do a stream of consciousness, tell myself the story kind of thing. It's a very rudimentary. Sometimes it's a couple of pages, sometimes it's 30 pages. It depends on the book. Then I'll do a couple of character sketches for the main characters, just so I kind of cement them all in my head. But after that, it's pretty much flying by the seat of my pants. I will write myself notes along the way, but it just kind of evolves that way. It's just the way I've always done it and it works for me. I know it doesn't work for everybody.
No, that's great. Do you write at home?
I do. I'm in my office right now.
Oh, very nice. You've never been a coffee cafe place to go and write?
No, too many distractions. Yeah, when I was younger, I called myself a professional volunteer. I volunteered at school, I volunteered with Girl Scouts, I volunteered with everything. So if I went into town, it was,
you know, everybody.
Yeah, everybody was always would always be interrupting. So
right, it's like walking around the supermarket.
Yep.
You run into so many people. It's crazy, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I was saying to you when we first started talking how your hair was purple in the last interviews to match your book cover. Now it's like you came on and your hair is blue. So
yeah.
Did you dye your hair originally purple to match the book cover?
No, it just happened to be my hair was already pink when we started working on the cover. Okay. And it was, I tend to go through seasons. In the summer it's pink, in the fall it's purple, in the winter it's blue.
That's so great.
It's fun. I'm getting a little tired of doing it, but I told myself when I turn 60, I'll revisit the going white thing.
Oh, okay. How many years till that?
And only a year and a month left.
Oh, okay. Okay. That's pretty cool. It really is. Now, what character in this book is your favorite? And are they based on anybody you really know?
My favorite character, hands down, is Polly. Mm-hmm. I love Polly.
Nice person, yes.
Yeah. So he's just so lovable. And nobody really is based on any one particular person, but there's bits and pieces of everybody I know in everybody. Varina is kind of there's bits of my mom in her, but there's also bits of me. Okay. And then Sylvia, there's pieces of my mom and my grandma and all the tons of aunts and that weren't really aunts in my family, because everybody's your aunt or your cousin when you're Italian. I don't know if it's the same when you're Jewish, but everybody's your cousin.
That's nice. Yeah. But did your relatives be like, did they say to you, that's me, and you base that on this one? And did you get all that kind of conversation from them?
I don't think anybody could really point to anybody and say, oh, that's me. But they could say, oh, that happened. There are a few little things in there that actually did happen. There's one, I think it's for Bosnigol. It was a story of my Aunt Mary, who lived to be 105 years old.
Oh, wow.
And it really did happen. So there are little things like that, oh yeah, that definitely happened.
There's longevity in your family, huh?
Yeah. My great grandfather was 96. My grandfather was 92. We've had a few make it over 100, though I couldn't tell you names. But amazing. Older. Yeah.
Here or in Italy?
I want to say the uncle I'm thinking of, he was here for many, many, many years and then went back to Italy after he retired.
Okay. I was gonna say maybe the lifestyle over there is better than here.
No, the ones that everybody, except I
Yeah.
can't think of anybody but the one uncle who went back.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And another thing I loved about the book was in the back, the recipes. I mean,
Oh,
and the book has so much great food in it that you really want to make these recipes. Are you a big cook?
I am. I love to cook. I am a really good cook. Writing recipes, maybe not so much. I hope they turn out for the people who actually do them because I measure nothing.
Oh,
In that I'm like Varina. It depends on the smell of something and how fresh it is and how acidy the tomatoes are. It's really hard to write a recipe when you don't measure.
I think in Yiddish it's called shitterine. I don't know what it's called in Italian, but
I love it.
I think that's right. I don't know. I just know that's what my mother used to say. So whether it's correct or not, I don't know, but I'm sure somebody will call me out.
They always do.
Yeah. So what's your favorite recipe to make? What do you enjoy making?
I love to make a big pot of gravy. I've been doing it for so long, I can do it in my sleep. And it never turns out the same way twice, but it always turns out well.
You grow your own tomatoes?
I did, one year, well, I tried to grow my own tomatoes, but that didn't work out. So I bought a couple of bushels
Okay.
and I canned all my own
Oh.
tomatoes. And that was really, really fun. But I'll tell you, it's a lot of work.
And it's a mess, right?
It is. It's such a mess and it's a lot of work. And then I always personally was so afraid of giving somebody ptomaine poisoning or something.
Botulism.
Yeah, that's what I meant, botulism.
Yeah, no, that's great. That's great. But yeah, cooking is great. It really is. And my absolute favorite food in the whole world is Italian food. There is nothing I would rather eat than that. I could eat it
Yeah,
for
me too.
breakfast, lunch, and dinner. I swear to you, that's just if you gave me tomatoes, bread, pasta, and cheese, I am a happy person. That's
those
all
are
I need in life.
the building blocks of life.
Yes. I just love it. Tomatoes, I eat tomatoes like every single day. I never go without them. I think they're the best food. It's really
There's
great.
nothing like a really good
Yeah.
tomato.
Have you been to Italy?
I have.
Okay.
I've been, on a tour. My parents actually took us to my brothers and our spouses and all of us. We went on a Mediterranean
Oh,
cruise, and we were in a few places in Italy, and it was just, I have to go back. But I never got down to Naples, which is where my family is from.
oh.
So I do want to make a trip just to Naples.
Did you watch The White Lotus?
I did. That was awesome.
Yeah, I'd like to go there.
Yeah, oh my goodness. Well, my husband's Sicilian.
Oh,
And,
he is. Okay.
we can make it a whole trip.
Yeah, no, go. Well, hopefully it turns out better than it did in The White Lotus to meet your
Yeah.
relatives. But yeah, that it looks great. I mean, I would love to spend some time there. What a beautiful hotel. I mean, that and the area, it's gorgeous, absolutely gorgeous. Beautiful, beautiful place. It really is. Now, another thing, after you write the book and it's out in the world, are you still thinking about your characters?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I still think about my characters from all my fantasy novels.
Okay.
They live with you. Right now I'm writing something new, so they're kind of in my mind more.
Okay.
But with this book coming out, it's always on my mind. And I'm still doing things I still do things with Bar Harbor. Now I wrote this book in like 2016 and I forget sometimes. So I do go back and I page through once in a while so I can answer questions.
Sure. Do you do book groups? Do you
I do.
zoom into book groups? You do?
I do a lot of book groups, mostly local, but I've traveled for a few.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah, it's fun. I really enjoy them.
Yeah, no, it's nice to see who your readers are.
Yes.
And to personally get to know them. And yeah, it's a great thing. It really is. Who are some are your favorite authors?
Well, it's hard to say. There's so many. I love Erin Morgenstern, the Night Circus.
Oh, okay. I read that one.
I'm a big old fantasy nerd. I love fantasy fiction, but I do read a lot of other. I joined a book club so that I would read more than just fantasy. So
Oh,
I
that's
do
great.
love Frederick Bachman, of course,
Hmm.
love Wiley Cash, love. Let's see, what's on my shelves here?
How about some other Italian authors? Do you read any of them?
I just picked up a couple of books, and I can't believe I've never read her before, but Adriana
The
Trigiani.
best. Love Adriana.
I can't wait to read one because this is my thing, and
Right.
I have not read her yet, so I absolutely have to rectify that
Do you
as soon
follow
as
her on
possible.
Facebook? She does Facebook Live. She always
Oh
has a
no,
little.
I didn't. I'll have to look for
It's so
that.
great. It used to be at night, so I was able to watch it all the time. Now it's during the day, but it's still recorded. You could always go back and watch it. She's fabulous. I actually did interview her
Oh,
a while
nice.
back, and it was before the pandemic. It was during the pandemic, yeah. Once we got back into the building, I interviewed her, and then she had me on her
Aha, very
Facebook. Yeah,
nice.
it was great. I love her. She's wonderful. She's a great Italian writer, no doubt about it.
I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, well, Big Stone Gap, I love that. You haven't read that one?
What ones did I pick up? Gosh, I can't remember. I picked up two that looked really good,
Uh-huh.
and now I just can't remember the
They're
titles
all
off the
good.
top.
So whatever you
Yeah, that's what I
pick up is
heard. I
fine.
heard they're all good. So
Yeah. But I had started with Big Stone Gap. I believe there's four in
that's
this
the one
series.
that's a series.
Yeah, there's four.
Yeah.
They're all great. They're just fabulous. I just love them. I think she's wonderful. She's a wonderful person, a wonderful author. She's a wonderful interviewer. She's like the
Oh,
best. She really is. She's so great. So yeah, you're definitely gonna enjoy reading her.
I
So
am
what does your
excited.
book group read? Do they read fantasy?
Only when I make them. And with the more modern fantasy, we did read Night Circus. It's one of their favorite books.
Oh, good. Okay.
But trying to squeak a few in, there's Nora Jemison's N.K. Jemison. She writes under her series, her New York series, her Cities of the World.
Hmm.
They're so freaking cool, and they would make such great discussion books. Can't get them to read them, so I might have to start a fantasy readers book club.
Are there any authors in your book group besides you?
There are two
Oh,
actually.
wonderful. You guys should do one of your books.
We have done actually they did Bar Harbor.
Oh, they did.
Was,
Okay.
yeah, that was really fun. They did that. It's hard because it's I never expect them to read my books. It might not be their thing. I think this one will definitely be.
Uh-huh.
But when you're writing in genre, like when I was reading writing fantasy, I did not expect them to read my books because I know they don't like it. And so
Right.
it's hard when you're in a book club, you don't want to obligate people to reading stuff that they might not necessarily want to read. So
Okay. But this one should appeal to them, right?
I think so. I think so.
Yeah, you don't have to be Italian to love it. It's
I think
it's a
so
great
many
family.
different
It's a family
ethnicities.
story. It's a
Yeah, yeah. And there's so many, I mean, Greeks and we're all the same.
Yeah, no, absolutely. There's no reason you don't have to be Italian to love it. Everybody would love it. Now, I want to just ask you about the Bar Harbor book because I have a book club, an elderly book club. Is that what the book is about? It's elderly.
It's about a retirement home, yeah.
Yeah, okay. Do you know if it's out in large type?
Oh yeah, yep. It's out in
Okay.
large type.
I know this one's going to be out in large type because I see we already have it on order.
Oh, good.
So if
Nice.
anybody's interested in Varina Palladini's Jersey Italian love story, just know that we're ordering it in regular print and large type, and it's also going to be available on Overdrive. So anyone who's interested in it, just give us a call. We'll be happy to put it on hold for you. So what is the book that you're writing now?
I am writing what I am currently calling Tommy and the Tagalongs Play Asbury Park. And it's,
Okay.
once again, I love writing about older people. I feel like older people have to be so tired of just not seeing themselves.
I agree.
I love this 80 for Brady thing and Frankie and Grace, all the stuff that's starting to come out. It's just makes me so happy. But it's 4 elderly ladies who live in a retirement home, and their favorite band from when they were kids is playing a farewell concert in Asbury Park.
Oh, that
And
sounds so
they
good.
have to, they escape their community to go see it, and many mishaps ensue. So
Oh, that sounds great.
it's
Yeah,
fun.
well, like I said, I have a book group that I pick the books for them, and I have trouble finding things for them to actually relate to.
Mm.
So I'm
Well, I'll
definitely
tell
gonna
you, the Bar Harbor book, if I have done 100 book clubs, I would say 85 of them were with senior centers or senior book clubs.
right.
And inevitably, one of them will come up to me and say, thank you so much for portraying us as human and not just these old relics that sit in a corner. And I think that's really, it makes even people that aren't necessarily in that age group, younger than that, people think, I don't have to be old and, boring kind of thing. Because none of my characters in that book are old and boring. They're all very, very many things. I won't say what they are.
Okay. But yeah, they need large type, so I have to see if there's large types available. But I'm
Yeah.
definitely going to look into that for next month for them. I think
Oh,
that'll be
good.
a great book for them. And then we can't do it unless it's, it can't be brand new because it's impossible to get enough copies from other libraries. But this will definitely be on my radar for next year.
No, good.
Because there's so many, there's so many Jewish books out there, but there's not as many Italian stories.
No,
So
there's not.
this will be great for them. They'll be very happy to read something different. So I definitely look forward to presenting this one to them. But it's got to be in a while when it's not new anymore. But what are you doing on Valentine's Day? Are you going to be going to any of the bookstores and signing your books?
I'm actually doing a local bookstore on the Sunday, the 19th.
Which bookstore? Let's give a
Burns
shout out.
Books in Bethel, Connecticut.
Oh, okay.
So I'll be doing a signing and talk there on that Sunday afternoon. On Valentine's Day, my husband is taking me out, not for Valentine's Day, but for my book release.
Sure, absolutely.
Yeah,
But
we're
it's a
gonna
perfect
go.
day for it to come out because, it's an Italian love story.
I was so
What better than
thrilled
that?
to get that date. Originally, they were going to release it in January. And then all of a sudden it was February 14th. And I was, that's the best. I'm so
Yeah.
excited for that.
That sounds like it's a perfect day for a love story. There's no doubt about that. So I want to thank you so much for being with us.
Well, thank you for having me. This was fun.
So I'm going to close this chapter of Turn the Page. This is Evelyn Hershkowitz, Reader Services Librarian, and we were with Teri Lynne Defino, the author of Varina Palladini's Jersey Italian Love Story, which will be out on February 14th. Thank you, everybody. Have a great day.
It's time to close this chapter of Turn the Page. Join us for the next episode.